Okay, so I thought I'd give my prediction of Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 2. That's right, I said Nate Diaz first because Nate Diaz won the first match. So I know a lot of people are calling it Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2. No, it's Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 2. Um, Now, I know that I've expressed, some of my frustrations about Conor McGregor on here before, and that I just want to point out. I just want to take this portion of the video just to say that I respect Conor McGregor. I think he's an excellent fighter, and as a boxing fan, the boxing fan in me gets a little irritated by some of the things that he says. But as a UFC fan, I do like and respect Conor McGregor. Okay, I have a love hate relationship with the guy. I know what this man is. I know what he can do, and you can't. Um, I'll admit, like sometimes I'm hating because I just don't like. I don't like some of the things that he says. Some of the things he says are inaccurate. Some of the things that he says kind of it opens the door to idiocy, But at the same time, I get why he says it, to bring more attention, and you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that hustle. So, and I do respect that hustle. Um, doesn't mean I'm not gonna call him out when I smell, bullshit, but I respect his hustle. So, with that being said, Conor McGregor, for the sake of the UFC, I think Conor McGregor needs to win this fight. And especially when you consider what's been going on in the UFC lately with all the stars falling. I mean, you got John Jones. He had a chance to kind of take the throne from McGregor after McGregor pulled out of 200, but then he got caught with the drugs in his system. To this day, I don't even know what that is. You got, Ronda Rousey. We haven't really heard much of her since she got knocked out by Holly Holm. Anderson Silva, he's kind of fizzling out. The UFC is losing stars, and it's losing stars really quickly. I mean, Robbie Lawler was kind of finally starting to gain some traction, but he just lost. The Diaz brothers they're also stars, but they're at the tail ends of their careers. You know what I mean? Whereas with Conor McGregor, he's still pretty young, he's still pretty fresh, and even after this Nate Diaz fight, he can still go on and do some incredible things. So that's why I think that for the sake of the UFC, it'll probably be better if Conor McGregor were to win this because I mean, just look at what he's done for the sport as of late. I mean, he definitely increased the UFC stock. No one really energizes people to watch the sport like Conor McGregor does. So, yeah, on one hand, that's the fan of the UFC in me. Like, I think that it definitely would be more beneficial for the sport if Conor McGregor were to win. But do I think he's going to win? It's a tough one, but I'm going to say no. I think Nate Diaz is going to come in there, and I think that Nate Diaz is going to do the same thing that he did during the last fight. I think it's crazy. Like, people need to realize that Nate Diaz pretty much did what he did under 11 days, in 2 weeks. He only had a 2 week notice, and you know what I mean. Like, Nate Diaz probably was just sitting Nate Diaz was probably just sitting on his couch watching I don't know, Family Guy or something, Simpsons, and Dana White, he gets a call from Dana White all of a sudden, and he picks it up, ring, 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 and then he's like, Dana White's like, yo, Diaz, Rafael Dos Anjos, he got injured, he pulled out the fight. Do you want the fight? And he's like, I don't know, Stockton, 209. I don't give a fuck. And then, and then he just walks in and he beats Conor McGregor. It's just, for him to do that under 2 weeks' notice, I just can't see Nate Diaz. Like, I've seen Nate Diaz fight before. We all know what Nate Diaz can do, and I don't even think that was, even though that was probably one of the biggest wins in his career, I definitely don't think that was his best performance. And if he can, if he can come back. If he comes into this fight, closer to, if he comes back into this fight, more prepared, I definitely think that that's going to be, that's going to cause a lot of problems for Conor McGregor. I just can't. It's not like I want to make this clear. I actually like Nate Diaz too. You know, I like and respect Nate Diaz too. I don't really have a dog in this fight. I like both of these individuals. I'm not emotionally invested or anything like that. I just feel that for the sake of the UFC, it will be more beneficial for the UFC if Conor McGregor were to win, because Conor McGregor can take this to more heights, whereas Nate Diaz, even though he probably could get some more big fights down the line, maybe a couple. I mean, his career is nearly done. Let's just be honest. This man's been in this sport for I don't know, probably over a decade now, and it's coming to that time where he's gonna have to consider retiring. I mean, this guy, he's one of the early winners of Tough Enough. You know, that's how old Nate Diaz is in the sport. He's a veteran. So, it's just, I think Nate Diaz is going to win. I want to root for Conor McGregor, but I also like Nate Diaz too. So this is a tough one. But I'm going to, if someone told me I had to put my money down, I'm going to be choosing Nate Diaz to win the second fight. And good luck to both men. And we're gonna see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, that's my prediction. Casual fan here, not an expert on the sport, but you don't have to be an expert to give your opinion on something. So, all right, later.